We're going to basically finally roll out this year. So thanks for coming in and being part of the show. For those of you that aren't with the whole brevity thing, here's our, next one, sorry. I'm just hitting this button. Here's our mission and vision. But the short of it is, really CORA is here to remove barriers to get everyone on the trails. We are dedicated to getting into the region and just opening up those opportunities for everyone to get out and experience the outdoors. This is our glorious board. They are volunteers who put in tons of time. Go ahead and move it up a little bit. They basically put together our strategy. They help with outreach. They put together great events like the Bike and Trail Expo at Matry, but also help with other events like Trail Fest at Mount Airy, and really tried to engage new and diverse people to get out there and get on the trails. This is our staff. This is our the troublemakers. We are, we're excited. We built up a couple part-time trail specialists. We also have Jackie here, who is our communications and engagement. So super happy to have her. We also have Isaac, who is keeping everything glued together. I am doing trail development, and our two trail specialists are actually, we saw them over at Sargent Park. They're trying to get it done while the weather's still good. So we're moving. And with that, I want to thank our, we have the city administrator from our host city here to welcome us. Matt?
Hey Jason, I'm Matt Kramer, the city administrator of Fort Thomas. A lot of people don't know what that is, but I'm oversee all the operations of the city. So welcome to our town, welcome to the Post, which is an awesome addition that we've received here in the last few years. Fort Thomas is very walkable, it's very rideable, as everybody knows, and that's been a big part of what I've been wanting to do since I've been here, is to try to improve that. CORA has been between Jason and Brian, we've had many meetings about ways to improve that. We've had, our sharrows that have been put in through town. We're really focusing on Tower Park and Highland Park trails with their assistance. And not only do we want to fix them up, but we want to have a long-term plan to make sure that they stay that way. So we don't want to put a bunch of money in and then 5 years later realize we need to do it all over again. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, is trying to make sure we have it really planned out so we don't have to keep doing major improvements. If we can continuously partner with CORA to have that done every year, and I think that's going to be best for us. So probably all I have, unless anybody has anything else. One thing I do want to say, since we have so many people here that ride and that go through Fort Thomas, if you have ideas, please share it with Brian, Jason, me. You can reach out directly and give us those ideas, because that's how things get changed. I don't think of everything that we've done here. It's ideas that came, that they pitched, and if I can justify it and we had the money to do it, and it's going to impact a lot of residents we do it. So your guys' input is really valuable to the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. For those that don't know me, I am Brian Bozeman. I am humbled to be the CORA board president, which I was just talking to Jessica. It's a pretty fancy term for a guy like me. But anyway, I've been the president of CORA for a little over a year, and I told Jason I had to take 3 minutes. I need 3 minutes, so I wrote all my stuff down here, so I won't go long. But as we reflect today on our past and look forward to the future, we find ourselves in a really great position and poised for growth. I look around this room at some absolute true giants, the OGs, as we like to say. I won't even begin to name names, but I see them. They're all in the back for some reason, or a lot of them are in the back. But you guys have spent countless hours, not just the OGs, but the new OGs, countless hours volunteering and making this place amazing. And not only the volunteers, but those that support us financially. We couldn't do this without you guys. Our humble, eager mountain bike community has created over 115 miles of trails throughout the region, and we are now riding on the backs of you giants. Our volunteers and investors are essential to the success of CORA, and you guys have literally dug the way to elevate our brand and the vision of this organization. So when you think about the history of mountain biking, our focus has been creating more trails for the mountain bike community to have a place to ride. Mountain bikers have built mountain bike trails for mountain bikers. We've hid in the shadows and sometimes seemingly even apologized for being mountain bikers. Well, that chapter is coming to a close. Communities across the nation have proven that an investment in trails is an investment in economic development and community vibrancy. People are choosing their home now more than ever based on lifestyle and livability, not on their career. A year ago, we were talking about getting in front of the non-mountain biking community to convince them of the benefits of trails and the positive impacts they'll have on our community. And as we sit here today, our regional growth partners like the CORA Alliance, who's here today, visitors bureaus, chambers of commerce, and others are now weaving our narrative into their strategies for tourism, talent attraction, and economic development. We have an amazing opportunity to advance the Cincinnati region as an outdoor destination by activating the endless, undevelopable natural landscape that exists right at the front door of our city center. I honestly can't think of another major city in the U.S. that has an opportunity quite like we do. I want this region to be the place that my kids never want to leave in search of another town that is vibrant and cool. And I want others to experience the life-giving joy that my family and I find when we get outside. As the head coach of the Northern Kentucky Roots, which is the junior NICA mountain bike team, I've seen firsthand the positive impacts on kids and families who are getting out and enjoying the trails. And you all have left and continue to leave a legacy for future generations. So now's the time to elevate CORA and our vision to garner the attention that it deserves. Not only because it's what we want as mountain bikers, but because it benefits the entire region. Thank you for trusting me as the board president. I look forward to another great year and many more to come. We'll talk about questions later, but please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I'm totally available all the time. So with that, Mr. Reeves is going to talk about the cool stuff.
All right. Thanks, Brian. So, I think Brian mentioned it, but we have a great canvas to work with. If you look at, it's the same everywhere here, but this is my favorite view of our region. It's the relief. It shows essentially the eons, the forces of nature that have carved out our valleys and hillsides, which many of them are entirely undevelopable. And you can see that most of them are covered with trees and would be the perfect spot for trails. The perfect space to start connecting our communities together, to have pocket parks, and just to give everyone access throughout the region. We are elevating what we're doing. We have our trail crew up there. They're very serious, but essentially using some heavy equipment. We bought a mini excavator this year. We also had a yard max that was given to us by Miami Valley Mountain Bikers for Cedar Creek, and we have a few other tools. And with a professional crew, we're able to build trails, but we're also hoping to go around and start doing some of those major fixes that our volunteers have looked at and dreamt about for a long time. We are, a fairly small organization still. We've been around for 28 years, but we have a small staff, and what we have really focused on is trying to prioritize and organize more folks to understand how to build trails and how to build these sustainable and enjoyable natural surface trails. Partners like Great Parks, working with Ohio Outdoor Corps to decentralize that so it's not just us doing it. We're bringing everyone into the fold, and we're prioritizing these projects and have a runway into the future. one of the first projects I want to touch on, one of our first successes that's going on right now, is very close to here. Sargent Park is about 2.5, 3 miles due north on the border of Dayton and Fort Thomas. And it's a little pocket park. We worked with City of Dayton, Kentucky to create some plans to do community input sessions and came up with a vision for just over a mile of trails there. That's the mile that's being worked on right now by our trail crew. We might need to latch that door. Maybe not. So they're out there working on that, and that's going to be just a beautiful, very easy green trail right in the city that people can get on. You can commute through from Lincoln Road down over to Covert Run, so you can ride from one road to another through that park. So it is connective, but also gives a nice, easy route for people, jogging strollers or kids on striders to roll through the park. So it's very different. It's if you're familiar with Terrell Park, it's one of the only really easy trails nearby to the city. This puts it inside another option inside the 275 loop. And with that, I also want to touch on one of our other successes, fitness and wellness coach, teacher,
Health and PE, how's that?
gym teacher. Health and PE.
I know what I teach.
Brian Weaver is here to talk about Nighthawk, which he was instrumental in making happen. So thank you.
I get to go first. This is awesome. All right. Where do I start? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian Weaver. I'm a health and PE teacher at Nagel Middle School, which is located in the heart of Anderson Township. Probably about 5-6 years ago, we came up with the idea of, it's kind of scary that that's all stuck together. Came up with the idea of putting something together on the campus of Nagel that would benefit Nagel students and the community at large. Jason asked me to come up and talk about the benefits behind this and everything that went into it and where we see ourselves going. But before I do, I would like to see a show of hands of any of the volunteers that helped build Nagel, or the Nighthawk Bike Park. Show of hands, please. Can you please do that? I didn't realize the value of volunteer work until our volunteers came out and helped us put this together, clear the land, take it from ground zero all the way to the point of opening up. I could sit up here and I could talk to you about the benefits, and then I put a long, hard thought into it, and I was like, you know what, why don't I instead have one of our students write a speech about the benefits? I know you're right. It's a scary thing to step into. So, for one of my 7th graders who hadn't ridden much, and is now part of our Nagel mountain bike club, he said, "Yo, what's up, everyone? Let's talk about how awesome our mountain bike skills park is, and why it's not just cool for us, but the whole squad, aka our community. First off, this park is legit. It's the perfect place to get outside, move around, and just vibe with your friends. Whether you're a total beginner or you're already crushing it on bikes, there's something for everyone here. You can practice your moves, get stronger, and even pull off some tricks to show off. Plus, it's way better than sitting inside at TikToks all day, right? Fresh air and fun for the win. And here's the best part. It's not just for us. The park is for families, neighbors, and everyone in town. Imagine your parents or siblings hopping on a bike and having fun too. It's a whole community hangout spot that's giving wholesome vibes. You might even meet new people who love biking as much as you do. Oh, and let's not forget, it's a chance to show off some love for the environment. We get to help keep the park clean and make sure it's in good shape so it lasts. That means learning how to take care of something important and feeling good about it too. So yeah, the bike park is a real deal. It's not just a spot to ride, it's a place to chill, grow, and make some memories with your friends. Let's keep shredding and having a blast out there. Peace out, and thanks. So now that we have officially opened the bike park, phase 1 is complete. We look forward in the future to building approximately a 1 mile perimeter trail around Nagel's campus, someplace that'll dip in and out of the trees. Kids have already been working in some of the local woods area, building their own ramps and natural tabletops and such. So we look forward to working on that in the future.
So up next we want to talk about our trail maintenance projects, and by and large, I would say 98% of these are volunteer led, and they don't necessarily go as noticed, but they make a huge difference in the experience out there on the trail. We have crew, Troy and Sherman. I know a few others have been out early mornings in the fall, spraying stilt grass to make sure it doesn't come back at Mount Airy. There's also been a ton of honeysuckle remediation, acres and acres and acres. We've also have been upgrading our newest bridges. Jim Southward has been working with Scouts, and we've been getting rough oak decking instead of treated lumber, so it doesn't get slick, all winter long or whenever it's wet. There's also been work at some of the parks. We learned it from the crew over at Landon Deerfield, using tillers to break up the dirt and resurface, bury the rocks, bury the roots, and that's happened also at DeVue Park. We've been putting up more wayfinding signage and are looking forward to dropping a whole lot more wayfinding into our trails, because that's one of the things that a lot of people think are missing. Number one, they don't know if they arrive at the parking lot, if that is actually the parking lot for their trail. And number two, once they get down there, it's always great to have a trail like Harbin Park, for instance, where there's blazes along the whole way. Last but not least, really something that couldn't be done with staff. After Helene blew through, over 500 trees were down on the trails. And they were all gone mainly within a week, entirely gone within 2 weeks. And you just could not do that. You couldn't have a trail crew large enough to make that happen. So thanks to all of our volunteers for making these impactful trail maintenance projects happen on an ongoing basis forever. So one of the new exciting projects that I want to talk about, we're happy CORA donors through our Party in the Park and a few other donors and contributions. We were able to help the DeVue Park Trail Collective make a couple new trail experiences. So these are trail experiences, big jumps and things that weren't really here in the Cincinnati region, and now they are. So the new Dimensions Trail, if you haven't been over there to DeVue, there's a couple others. Great gravity trails. Also, really thankful the Josh Brenneman Memorial Trail. Basically his extended family at Dirt Artisans resurfaced the Josh Brenneman Trail in his memory, and so it's riding great. It's a fabulous trail, so go hit it. So next up, kind of shifting gears, moving north. This is Vulture Preserve. It's up by Mount Airy. It's kind of another, like Sargent Park. It's just over 100 acres there in Westwood, just between, just south of the Montana Avenue exit. So we're hoping that this will eventually link up to the trails at Mount Airy. Right now, we've had contributions. Kyle Reiser from the local community from East Westwood community has written a bunch of grants, and we started building trails there. So we have, the first trail is finished. It goes from Montana Avenue up to Brokaw Avenue, and it's just over a mile, and it's a green trail. It's very, very easy, and we're hoping that we'll keep building there, connecting schools, connecting parks where people work around the area, and it's also really our first trail that's been built on private property. This is Hillside Trust property, and they've been gracious enough to allow us to build there, and they're actually helping us raise more funds to keep building there and in more places in the future. So we're super excited about that. We have, I think, a few more photos of that trail. This is part of the finished product that Mitch and Matt, our trail specialists, have built. And it's essentially, this particular part was a roadbed, but they put some dips into it and pushed back all the invasives. And we have another photo. And now we have, I think, white snake root. It's a native plant that's starting to pop back up where the honeysuckle used to be. So bringing back, restoring the native plants. The next project I want to mention is really right across. You have this enormous, this is another of my favorite views of the city. Mount Airy Forest, and that rectangle up there, it's about the same size as downtown Cincinnati. So you have an enormous 1,400 acre forest. Our volunteers have put in thousands of hours building trails up there, and we have just over 5 miles. Across the road from that, Cincinnati Parks is going to be building the Mount Airy Skills Park. We'll have to wait for the next slide, but it's going to be, American Ramp Company is going to be popping into town hopefully next spring, and we'll build this, which I know a lot of you have donated towards. We've also had a huge donation from the Specialized Outride Foundation to make this happen. And we're just, we're super excited that they get across the finish line, get it out, and get it awarded very soon here, so we can see that next spring. We're also excited to be working on, this is a longer term project, the Lower Miami, kind of a rated trail network along the Lower Miami Trail. We have all kinds of spaces along the valley, the riparian zone, where along the Lower Miami, where you might see sycamore trees, the plants become a little different, the soil becomes sandy, and you also have these hillsides that can connect to communities. So we started a project, did a study, I think 2 years ago, with Kaylin Trail Design. They came out and we identified a bunch of opportunities in that valley, starting down here by Lumpkin Airport and around Lumpkin, up through Clear Creek, Bass Island, and across the river, following that Lower Miami Trail up to Avoca, and even up to Terrell Park. This is the first project that we started raising funds for. It is at Clear Creek. It's Anderson Park District is our partner there. We reached out to the community. We did a big email campaign and asked you to sign a petition that went out to your senators, to your representatives, and also did personal outreach. And we were successful. They actually allocated $380,000 from the state capital budget towards this project. Huge. Representative Baker, Representative Isaacson, and also Senator Wilson. So if you're in Ohio, you can vote for those folks. Get them back in there. Now, we can go to the next slide, I think. It's a beautiful view there. There's a great breeze. Where this bike park is going to be will be elevated up out of the floodplain a little bit. But our partner, Anderson Park District, they had a park levy that passed. A lot of potties, pathways, pickleball. They had 5 Ps. So they had a park levy that passed. We're moving towards it, but that was in 2023. In 2024, they had a park levy that failed in this recent election. So their operating budget was actually kind of cut away. So they'll be back at it in 2025, and they will need your support to move this project forward, really, and to make sure it can happen and they can maintain it. There's also, you'll hear about park levies. Park levies make a huge difference, and sometimes they don't read right on the ballot. Sometimes when they're a replacement of an existing park, it can say, or existing park levy, it can say that it's an additional or a new one. But do your research. Please support park levies for the parks, especially like great parks that are building trails. It makes a huge difference in what they can do. With Clear Creek, this is basically a picture of my kid at Baker Creek. This is what we think can happen along that corridor and also other spaces along our paved trails here in the region, especially on the Little Miami, that you can have options. You can have your paved corridor, you can have a little pump track to the side, little stone things, maybe skinnies, different things. If you've been down there, it's just about opening up options. It's Culture Preserve again. There's Mount Airy in the distance. And with that, skipping around a little bit, sorry, I want to introduce Jessica Spencer from Great Parks to talk about the trails that she's built at Avoca.
Thank you, Jason. You're being generous. I have not built any trails in Avoca. I will give the credit to our trail specialist, Gavin and Amy. CORA has been a fantastic partner for a very long time, and this is just a recent example of how they've been a great partner. So we had a concept for a trail in Avoca, but in working with CORA, we were able to sort of finalize it and build it into a larger network of trails, which is going to be more impactful. So this trail here is going to be about 1.5 miles, and it's along the Little Miami Scenic River, obviously, but I'm just going to walk you through the process real quick so you understand how we do this. So we have an internal review process as well, and that involves things like plant surveys and environmental impact. So once we get through that, we also talked to Danny Meyer with the Bridge Adaptive. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he helped us think through how to make it a more accessible trail. So we had adaptive mountain bikers come out and test ride it. So it turns out in this scenario, we were able to make it more accessible by widening the tread and then the turns. So looking forward to it being more accessible. We had a couple work days already with some volunteer groups, and we're also offered to help. So we're in touch with them as the trail progresses. We're about 90% finished already. So that's with, let's see, phase 1 and phase 2. And then we might have a third phase later on that includes a bridge across the creek. So depending on whether we need that or not, we'll get it done even faster. And then another project I wanted to mention, which is not in this network, but you might be interested in, is the mountain bike improvements at Mitchell Memorial Forest. So we had plans to do a skills course and then a skills loop. And we're excited because this is the first time we've won a regional trails program grant. So the project itself is $160,000, but the grant was awarded for $68,000. So that's going to pay for 17 different features, and some of those are going to go on the skills course out in the mode area where the trees are, and then the rest are going to go on the existing mountain bike path to sort of introduce it to beginner mountain bikers. So when the trail was originally built, it was set up so the A loop was sort of for beginners and the B loop was a little bit more advanced, but as it's aged, it's gotten a little bit more challenging. So we're trying to make it more accessible to beginning mountain bikers. So with that project, we're learning how to use funds from ODNR, and there's a little bit more requirements. So we are also working with American Ramp Company because the products have to be American made. So it's one of the few companies that actually meet those requirements. So there's a 6-month lead time, and while we're hoping to get that project started this year, it's probably going to be closer to end of next year before we're finished. So, all right, I'll hand it back to Jason.
These are great parts. And I also now want to introduce one of our other projects that's happening regionally. Our friends from ODNR and the Ohio Outdoor Corps are here, Misty and Mark, to talk about the project, the new perimeter trail at Stone Lake State Park.
Hi everybody, my name is Misty Ankenbauer and I am the trail crew lead out at Stone Lake State Park. And this project is going to be about, like the trail is going to be about 9+ miles that goes around the lake. And a little bit about like what we're doing is clearing corridor. So there is some areas that it is really thick, so just getting out the invasives of what we're doing at first, just clearing all invasives, and then once we see the sight lines and stuff, that's when I will lay out the actual tread of the trail. And then bitching and leveling is one of the things that we have to do in some of the areas where it is really steep, like the slope and stuff, which is really nice with not having other areas where it's really flat, so we'll have water issues. So there's some pictures about that. In other areas, we have to get across drainages, so we try to limit actual platforms is we've done rock crossings. So there's different rock crossings here, pitching stone or doing aggregate to kind of get across. And then with the bridges, this was a really fun project. We were able to utilize actual old galvanized frames from the docks. They were no longer floating. This was a big help, definitely from CORA, to help pay for the lumber, which is also that white oak as well. So this was really fun. And then this is some of the pictures of the trail that is finished. We have about 2 miles finished as of right now. And then another mile a little mile and a half that's been flagged and cleared. And you can actually be able to see the lake on this, so there is areas that we've definitely tried to be able to get to those sight lines and views with that trail. These are some pictures of my crew. It is me and 3 other people with this. And then this is like from some of our work days. It has scout groups come out, help me and working with high school clubs, like environmental clubs. So getting them out, the big advocate trying to get scout groups and clubs coming out to help us out on the trail. And then for volunteers, so I do have volunteer days set up like with CORA every second and fourth Saturday of every month. And so it is, getting volunteers is a big help with it being such a small crew. This is a 3-year-long project, and we are on the beginning of the 2nd year right now. So getting as many volunteers out definitely does help with moving this project along and getting it done faster. My goal for this winter is to have the whole trail flagged and work on just clearing corridor this whole winter and getting as much of the corridor as I can cleared. And so, yeah, just if you have any questions.
Share with everybody how long it is. He did.
Yeah,
Oh, you did
it's gonna be 9+ miles of trail.
Did she say that?
Yes.
We wanted to share that one more time.
Yeah. It's gonna be 9+ miles.
Thanks, Misty. And yeah, if you have any questions, Mark from ODNR, the statewide trail administrator, is also here, but he's trying to hide out. He is in uniform, so thank you to both of you for coming down here. With that, our glorious president president has been working on helping out with a huge project that you might have heard about. I'll let him riff on there.
Thanks, bro. So when I talk about mountain biking and you guys lurking in the shadows, what I really meant was trespassing on other people's property. Raise your hand if you ever rode at Circle Board.
Dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes, ATVs. There's a huge crowd back in the back. So this was one of those just like very fortuitous things. I got a call from Corporex, who owns property. Obviously, they own a lot of Circle Port and a lot of those hillsides. And they said, oh, we want to put some trails up along Pacific Avenue at this development. And I was like, that's really cool. And Reeser and I sat down around some maps and figured out not only is it around Pacific Avenue, but there's like 700 acres that you guys are all familiar with because you've walked in there and played in there. That's totally available for what is to be known as Eon's Adventure Park. The large majority of that is the Sanitation District Conservation Easement for a stream mitigation bank, which does allow public recreation. So super exciting opportunity. And then we came to find out that across the 275, Mayor Jessica Fetty, Mayor Erlanger, Mark Collier, who's the economic developer there now. A lot of you guys probably know Mark from Fort Thomas. But anyway, they were working on a $50 million adventure park with tree canopies and stream restoration. It's just going to be totally amazing. Is this the video, Jackie? Video is up. Do house, I'll give you props for they've done an amazing job making that look really hot. It's viral, I guess, as the kids would say. But there is an opportunity for 25 plus miles of trails in that valley, and then it leads right down to the water treatment plant, which will smell amazing. Promise, no worries there. But Anderson Ferry, and then as you hit Route 8, now we're talking undevelopable hillsides that I talked about earlier that would lead all the way back to Dubuque Park. So killer opportunity in Northern Kentucky. So stay tuned on that. And if you've got $500,000, come see me. Are you up?
I think so.
Read.
Am I?
Maybe, I think,
Maybe not.
click.
Yeah.
Click more.
Quick water.
No, it's Ryan Salzman.
Sorry, that was my fault.
I have a cue sheet here.
Yeah, none of us have our glasses on, so
That was a sad sigh. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Salzman. I'm project director at the 1NKY Alliance. The 1NKY Alliance is a public interest association, technically speaking. I used to be a political science professor. That's what we would call it, a public interest association. Our associates are 24 corporate and nonprofit leaders who sit on our board, and our board's very driven. If you were to name a large corporation in and around Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, probably their CEO sits on our board. And we are very driven by their priorities. And we do work in 3 different areas: unity, health, and education. So under our health initiative, we do a lot of smoke-free work. But then on the other side of that, we had a discussion about what could be something else that we do. And immediately, the discussion went to the idea of getting outside, because this area is beautiful. I'm from Texas, it's not beautiful in most of Texas. This area is gorgeous all the time, and so to get outside, and then if you add to that the historic nature of our urban core, it's really this juxtaposition of beauty on top of beauty. I don't know, I'm guessing. But we said, what is it that we could do? And so we started doing some research, connected with people like Jason, people like Brian, people like Wade who are here, and said, you know, what exists? And what we learned is that there's a lot. But then there's a question of how do you get from one to the other? 37 cities in northern Kentucky, in fact, maybe it's 36, maybe it's 38. The fact that we debate about that may be the most northern Kentucky thing about us. But I always like to tell this story that if you go from the Newport Library over to the Kroger in Bellevue, and you walk underneath 471, you will come to a point in the sidewalk where there's a break of about 3 feet. And I think that that exemplifies a lot of what happens in our region. The One in KY Alliance is uniquely positioned to work across all of these jurisdictions in a way to compel and encourage collaboration. And so we came up with this idea, really, it's Jason's idea that we've seized on to create what we're calling the One in KY Connector Trail, which is an on-road and natural surface trail, largely taking advantage of what is already in existence and trying to do it in a way that amplifies and really is built like a trail system, meaning when you see a trail marker, you can see the next trail markers, you can see the next trail marker, so you don't have to think too much about it. There's no getting out your cell phone to figure out what you're going to do next. So this is an ambitious project in that it's a short timeline, and really I should take just a minute. So our trail that we're looking at is the yellow piece. The green is what is also being activated and what is in existence right now, but we wanted to place it in the larger context of everything awesome that's being done out there. And so we want to connect, and then we want what is existing, and then we want to activate what is coming next. So this is a relatively short project. It's a $742,000 project. Most of a third of it will be focused on planning to prepare for build out in the future. It's great to have trail markings on road, but it would be even better to have a separated multi-use path, to have proper infrastructure. That's going to take a lot of planning and engineering. Really looking forward to when we launch this, having Wade and his team at Tri-State Trails taking the lead on the on-road portion, of course Jason and the team working on the off-road, the natural surface portion of that. So it's a 2-year project. Our goal is to have this up and running in 2 years, and that does include some build out. Sometimes, again, it's about connecting the dots. Areas that Jason's identified that are already being ridden at a very high rate, but getting from where it's being ridden onto the next part, there's no curb cut. You know, it's something very, very simple like that. So we'll be putting some resources behind it. So we have, it's a $742,000 project. At this point, we have raised we're $93,000 of our goal to raise. Right now, the hope is, you know, we were pulling for Q4 of 2024. I think in all likelihood, there will be significant work underway by January 1 of 2025. At that point, we'll hand it over to Jason, hand it over to Wade, the experts in the room, and we will all get to ride and enjoy. And part of this trail, because of course a trail is a trail, but how do we make it more monumental? That's always my organization is going to be thinking about that. How do we make it something that really feeds into community vibrancy? Along the trail, there will be a series of hubs. And those hubs will have rider amenities, seating, ideally water, so that you can, you know, bottle fillers, water fountains, bike repair stations, and those will exist in different areas. So ideally at a Tower Park, there would be a hub, and that will also include art and aesthetic installations as well. Things that we can really be proud of. Working with Arts Wave on some of that, how we'll identify artists. We're really excited for the potential that there is to capitalize on Sargent Park, bring people to Dayton. I mean, I'm sure most of you have, but usually when I tell people this, if you haven't been to Dayton recently, like, you gotta get to Dayton soon. Love some Dayton. Of course, I'm a Bellevuean, so anyway. But this is all very exciting, and it's something that we think will eventually be something that can be built upon, but the project is limited because we want to get it done. 7 cities, 3 counties, 31.49 miles is our targeted trail distance, and I will, if it doesn't work out, I will be looking to Jason to explain why that.
Thank you.
being here and partnering with us. I would like to turn it over to one of our board members, Ree Hohweiler, next to just talk a little bit about how trails can impact someone.
Ryan, right there. Yeah, we need to also get some beer along those trails. That's what I'm gonna have to for. Hi, I'm Rhiannon Hohweiler. Most people call me Ree. I work for Match Brewing. I'm the VP of Experience and Impact there. I've been there for about 4 years. And a lot of what we do there is give back to the community, but that probably started for me a little bit younger. I went to undergrad in Asheville, North Carolina, which if you have been there, it is a beautiful place to ride mountain bikes, to get out into nature, and everything's sort of in your backyard. And then I came back here and I went to Miami and got my master's, again, in environmental science. So you can see that I definitely have a strong love for the environment. So it's really important for me. And then I started my career and spent over a decade at the Cincinnati Zoo running all of the operations. And 4 years ago left and came to MadTree to really build out their community impact program. Some of the beautiful things that I've gotten to witness while along that journey, I go out west a lot, to Montana specifically. And if any of you are skiers here, ski towns are trying to figure out how the hell to bring in money in the summertime. Do you know what they're building? Mountain bike parks, that's right. Big Sky, Montana is where I've been going for 25 years of my life. And I'll tell you, in the last 5 years, they are on a tear to build mountain biking into their community, to build that revenue. So when I was approached by CORA to join the board, it was a no-brainer for me on what they're building. So Jason, to your vision here, man, what an opportunity we have in this community to build something so amazing that connects our community to the outdoors. When you think about what's happening in our across our country, right? There's some mental health issues that are huge. How do you resolve that? You get people connected to nature and each other. How we're doing that through the work that you guys are witnessing today through these videos. It's so exciting to me to think about what Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky can be together. The fact that they're working hand in hand with Tri-State Trails, like that opportunity puts us on par with some major cities. And I think the beautiful thing about what I've witnessed, right, is how connected it is to our downtown city, right? I kind of never thought about that until working with CORA. We're right next door to downtown Cincinnati. Who else has that opportunity across this country? And look at what we can build. I think when I think about what that can mean for our city, it means that we can bring young people into Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, bring new ideas, bring fresh ideas, right? Make this region amazing. It is already amazing, but we can continue to do more, and I think that's what gets me excited about being on the CORA board. And then, you know, I do have to bring it back to beer, because it's where I work. We are excited at the opportunity, and we haven't really rolled this out, but I think we'll be a bigger contributor through possibly a canned product in 2025 that we're really excited about. So look for a beer from MadTree that will be connecting right back to building trails in your home community. We're committed to that work. MadTree is very committed to the work that's happening in Cincinnati, and soon we'll be putting it on a shelf and connecting it back to trails. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk about my life. I'm excited for
Up next, again, another one of our board members who's been super impactful, and he takes up a lot of our time talking about this, but it's exciting. Bike and Trail Expo. Doug Hart.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming today. I'm actually the treasurer of CORA.
Oh yeah.
But I do wear a different hat as well. So the Bike and Trail Expo at MadTree is coming on March 8th. Most of the local bike shops will be there. There'll be outdoor gear, there'll be mountain bike destinations. I hope some of you have already been there. Be sure and come back this year. We're going to have a new section for adventure vehicles that's going to be in the front parking lot of MadTree. And please note, this is a free admission event, free parking, including at Crossroads, across the street from Mad Tree. So park over there, you'll come through the adventure vehicle section. It'll put you in Mad Tree where all the exhibits and all the beer is, yay! So I want to thank Mad Tree, Land Rover, and the Cincinnati Parks Foundation for being a sponsor. So this has been, got my treasurer hat on now, right? This has been a pretty good year for CORA fundraising. The Trail by the Foot sweepstakes raised netted $15,000. Yay for that. The Bike Expo netted approximately $20,000. And I want to point out with the Bike Expo, it also nets us a heck of a lot of goodwill, exposure, and some great partnerships. I want to thank UDF, Nexigen, United Wheels, and Emboss Architecture for making great donations this year. Thank you to those guys. So, here in this room are a lot of board members, and a lot of volunteers who give their time and money. This is what inspires those larger donations. That's what they see at work every day, right? They don't just happen, right, Jason? They just don't. And they're not going to happen until you do what you do and they see what you do. So thank you for your volunteer time and donation. It means a lot. It's huge. And for showing up today. So next slide. I'm not going to talk about this stuff. It gives you a big picture of our expenses for the year, but I want to talk about some of the larger contributions, right? So we partially funded the recent expansion at Devou. We helped stand up the Devou Park Trail Collective. We helped fund the Nagle Bike Park. Our funds were contributed to the Cincinnati Park Foundation to help start the Mount Airy Skills Bike Park. Did I say that right? We funded a preliminary trail plan at the new Eons Park, up and coming Eons Park, and our new trail specialists, Mitch and Matt, are probably down at Sergeant Park right now working on a mini excavator that was purchased with those funds that we've raised. So where we are now seems like a fair question to ask the treasurer, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope we've demonstrated that we can raise funds, that we have a vision for those funds. But I think we're also very fortunate. In fact, I woke up this morning being very grateful for having 120 miles spread out, but I feel pretty close close to home trails, let me say that. It's probably more miles than most Midwestern cities, in my opinion. And it's something not even places like Denver have, but maybe that's a stretch. But one of our daughters lives in a suburb near downtown Denver, right? So when I visit her with my mountain bikes, I've got to go out to Golden, Colorado to ride my mountain bike. And I think that's the closest place to mountain bike if you live in downtown Denver. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I live on the east side. I'm 12 minutes from Devou. I'm 25 minutes maybe from East Fork, right? I think East Fork is still closer to me than Golden is to downtown Denver. Wow. I don't know. But back to where we are now. This is one of the best kept secrets. I know I'm not talking about treasure stuff, but it's really all related. It really truly is what everybody's doing in this room. It makes a huge difference. Just about every time I talk to people about our 120 miles of mountain bike trails, and I think I get kicked out of cocktail parties for talking about mountain biking too much. They're always pleasantly surprised. They're always surprised about it. And they don't even realize mountain biking is an option in this area. These are the same people that go out to Montana, and when they get there looking for something to do in the summer, they go to a ski resort and do the downhill. I don't know. Seems to me people get pretty excited about the trails we have. And for me, getting people excited about trails is pretty easy. It makes me think that there are and trying to bring it back here, that there are plenty of opportunities for us. That means our board, you guys, to help raise more funding just by sharing our vision. And everybody's talked about that, I think. Access to outdoor recreation, better health outcomes, all leading to more people who want to stay here, who want to live here. So thanks again to our volunteers, our board members, our donors. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the expo on March 8th in Bantry.
I also want to introduce our newest staff member, Jackie Hauser.
We've got a lot of great stuff going on here with CORA, and I'm excited to be a part of that. So I've been working with CORA since September now, working part-time. And I did want to share a little bit of my story. So you're probably wondering, well, who is this lady outside of working with CORA? Well, I discovered mountain biking in 2020. I'm a COVID mountain biker. And I started riding my road bike first. My friend Corey said, that's lame. It's not, I love it. Okay, I love my road bike. But he said, go try a mountain bike. I said, yeah, right, I'm going to get injured. He found this cheap mountain bike, full suspension, $500, painted over Rocky Mountain bike, and I got it. I rode up Mount Airy for my very first mountain bike trail.
Wow.
And I thought, well, this is tough, but I have a mountain bike, I'm going to keep going. So every time, because I live in Northside, I'd go back and just add a little bit further, a little bit further. Then I started seeing that there were trails being built around me. And I thought, well, this is really cool. And then I discovered coratrails.org/trails. And I thought, well, there are so many more trails that I can adventure on. And so I just started doing that solo. I didn't know any other mountain bikers other than my friend Corey, who now lives in Asheville. So he went down there. And I started discovering all these different trails. And it was really neat, the campaign we did a few years ago, where I remember it was the magnet on the refrigerator, and it was try to do all the trails. And I was all about it. The only one I didn't do was Tower Park. I've never been there. I tried it once, I got confused. But I fell in love with more trails. It's like Mitchell's really cool. Wow, Devue's really cool. Wow, all these different trails are so much fun. And a special shout out to Harbin, because I really love Harbin. It is so much fun and a very big challenge for me. I love trying to get over the roots, the rocks, all the stuff. So mountain biking has changed my life mentally and physically. I was very overweight when I first started in 2020, and I've lost probably about 50 pounds just mountain biking and being around people. And I was very depressed, I was very anxious, and now I'm not. The trails have really helped that. Being outside, meeting new friends. I have developed a community of people I knew nobody, and now I know a lot of people. So that's why I love this community. I love CORA. I love being a part of it. So I'm excited to help communicate what we're doing, however we can. So Sherman's going to push this next slide here. We are ramping up our newsletter. So we're going to definitely have a monthly newsletter that's going to go out along with other special things that will be going out. So if you're interested in signing up for the newsletter and you haven't done that yet, I would recommend doing that. So it's just great to learn what's going on with CORA outside of this meeting. You'll have more information as we go. And then one other thing that we're going to start amping up is our YouTube channel. So we are starting to put videos up. So the video you saw earlier with Nighthawk, that will go live right as soon as we're finished. So you can see that. I'm also going to upload the video of this in case you're like, man, I missed a little bit of the meeting, or I was thinking about something else and I really wish that I heard that. We're going to upload what's being recorded right now so you can revisit that or share that with anybody, share the passion of what's going on with CORA. My goal is to be able to communicate what we're doing in a fun way. So as of course we've got a newsletter, we've got social media, I want to try to create more videos, and I'm all about creating that with you all. So you probably see these flyers that are on every one of your seats. There is something on the front that has a picture of Sherman and Liv, and then there's a little QR code there. I would love to see what you guys are doing on the trails. Pictures, videos. If you just scan that QR code, it'll take you to our Google Photos, and you can upload whatever you have. I would love to utilize that in some videos. I can go out and make videos all day, but I know you guys are doing it too. So I would just love to be able to enhance that. And it's an honor to work with CORA, and I'm excited to be a part of what's happening. I'm excited to share. The next thing is Isaac is going to come up and share some really cool stuff.
All right. Hi all, I'm Isaac. I am the administrative coordinator, like Jason mentioned earlier. I've been working with CORA for just about a year and a half now. Started last June, and similar to Jackie, I've been mountain biking here for a little while now, but I started as a teenager. I've been Cincinnati native, born and raised, went to school here, and I started mountain biking on Full Monty at Davoo with an old 90s Cannondale when I was 14 years old and I had an awful time. And I just kept at it, and the trails kept getting better, and access has kept getting better, and I am thrilled to be at this point and to help give that to more and more people and make that more accessible so people can get out and have that good first experience that might not turn them off of it. I was a student at UC. When I was at UC, I was involved with the UC Cycling Club. I was the president there for a bit, and I was a college kid living up on campus, and I had to ride my bike to Davoo or Mount Airy. It was the closest place I got to go ride, and I sort of just chalked it up to like, hey, that's how you get to bikes. That's how you get to the mountain bike trails. That's what you want to do. You just hop on your bike, you go put it on a car, you find a bus, whatever. You got to go to the trail to get there. And now, almost 10 years later, getting to look at this plan for the whole region and see, oh, like we can actually make those connections. We can have that experience right outside our front doors is super inspiring. I'm really excited to be a part of that. I don't have a whole big new trail project to talk about or anything quite that exciting, although we are going to be launching a new in-house membership program for CORA. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. We've done that through IMBA for a long time. I'm sure as many of you know, we are a local IMBA chapter. That means a whole bunch of things, but one of the things that they have helped us do is to get support from members who want to contribute to our mission, what we are doing, give a little bit of ownership, and just support our work. We have been thrilled to have IMBA's help in doing all that, and this is, of course, no step away from IMBA. We are a close partner with them, and we're going to be working with them as long as CORA is a thing. But in order to give our members that are local a way to give more ownership, have more impact here at the trails close to home, we are finally able to start doing our own membership in-house. So instead of, a portion of what you give going to IMBA's advocacy efforts for mountain biking across the country, of course most of it still does end up here. This is 100% going straight to CORA initiatives, so not strictly IMBA stuff, it's wherever we might be doing. And on top of that, since this is our own in-house program, we can help modify it the way that makes sense for our members and makes sense for our organization as we continue to grow. So just a way for us to be nimble and to give you all more ownership and ways to support our organization and our work. Yeah. That QR code is active now if anyone wants to sign up. That's little work. It's also just CORA Trails, coramtv.org/membership. We'll get you there. It's on our homepage. You'll be able to find it nice and easily. So just glad to finally get that out there. We talked to maybe some of you back at the expo in March about it. It was a very, very soft launch back then, but now all the bells and whistles are there. One other thing I just wanted to touch on real quick, like Doug mentioned, we have some fantastic corporate sponsors, just like our members, that are helping invest in our mission and enable us to do those bigger projects and get us to that final goal that we have of making trails more accessible for everyone. So just putting their names up here again to shout out and thank them for what they're doing. Let's see here. I think I'll be turning this on over to Sherman for us to talk about our volunteers here. All right.
Thank everybody for coming. I just wanted to talk about volunteering. Volunteering on the trails is a lot of the reason why I got involved with CORA. Started pushing a bush hog with Scott Garver over there and doing a terrible job, and then kept on coming back and doing more work. And I think the volunteer trail steward and trail maintenance volunteers, it's a community of its own. There's some folks that hike and do enjoy different trails. Some people enjoy doing trail building as much as they enjoy getting out on a mountain bike or getting out with their hiking and hiking shoes on and things like that. So one of the things I wanted to put notice on is this shows a big dip in 2024, and it's not. I don't think that's because we didn't do as much work as we did in 2022. We're probably doing more work because we have more mileage of trail. It's just that we got our heads down and we're out there, pushing to maintain these trails. And some of the trails that like East Fork and Cedar Creek are running better now than they have in years. Just we're not logging our hours just as much. We're off the computer and we're out on the trails like we're supposed to do, right? So we want to just kind of give everybody a reminder that if you get out there and you're putting in work, then go ahead and log those hours so we can brag to our cities and our government officials about all the awesome work that you get and all the awesome people that want to come out there and contribute to the trails. And you don't just get, you don't just get CORA and our staff. You get also an amazing, activating the amazing volunteers in your community and get people really caring about the environment around them and being kind of protective of that. So let's go ahead and move on. So one of the shining, the biggest awards we give out every year is the Golden Rhino Award. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. You want to move over to the next slide. So the Golden Rhino Award celebrates a volunteer who's committed and whose commitment and hard work stand out year after year. This honor goes to someone who consistently logs over 100 hours annually, shaping our trails and community with a lasting impact. From leading trail work days to organizing group rides, they bring people together and embody the spirit of leadership that makes our organization thrive. And I just wanted to add that these folks are leaders in their community. They step up and when sometimes the like going with when a lane comes through and it knocks down a bunch of trees and we need to go out there with chainsaws. This is hard work, and people this is what happens between the rides, right? This happens before we strap up on our shoes and get out on the trails. They make sure we have a wonderful experience and we're not parkouring around. So I want to talk about, do a quote from Mike Lairder to describe one of our amazing award recipients and to say that he's been a workhorse at Tower for many years, often coming out to work alone. He is an unassuming guy who loves to ride and almost always says yes when asked to help with trail matters. He is also an advocate for keeping Tower, especially lower trails, wild and gnarly. So we'll announce that in a little bit. We got one more recipient, we have a quote from Jackie Hauser that says that she dedicates countless hours to ensuring the trails are in top shape for everyone to enjoy. She has rallied a network of trail gnomes who keep our trails in excellent condition, from coordinating bridge repairs to prepping for one of the 3 annual 6-hour races. She exemplifies leadership through her commitment and positivity and inspiring riders of all experience levels. So I want you guys really I want you to really clap and blow the roof off this place, because these people really put in all the time and effort to make sure our experience is something that we can remember. All right, so give you a round of applause to our Golden Rhino recipients. Award here. So this is the CORA Pathfinder Award that we came up with this year to really recognize another aspect of our community. So if you scroll over. All right, so the CORA Pathfinder Award recognizes the those individuals who've gone above and beyond in advocating for trail projects. Awardees are celebrated for their exceptional outreach, stakeholder engagement, and dedication to mobilizing the community around and around shared goals. And I just wanted to add that you know, sometimes it's not getting out there and getting a rogue hoe in your hand and getting dirty and putting on the boots and chopping out trees. Sometimes it's the people in the boardrooms that's making the phone calls, making the connections, and talking to our donors, connecting them to us, that really make a difference. So I just wanted you to also give a huge round of applause to our recipients. Scroll over, Brian Weaver and Kyle Reiser. Couldn't be here today, but he was really instrumental in getting GOTRA, and Brian, of course, told his story about Nighthawk. So we want to move over to our Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, you know, this is one of those awards that we give out every year to someone that has really taken, you know, our volunteering and brought it into their lives, you know, made it one of those things that that they do they think about and they do every week, and it's almost a second job to these people, you know, and you know, that's something that some of us might take for granted because we just so used to all of our wonderful trail stewards. But we really wanted to really appreciate people that have been consistent throughout, you know, decades of making sure that our experience out on the trails are great. So our Trailblazer Lifetime Achievement Award honors decades of exceptional service, celebrating volunteers whose dedication, vision, and leadership have left a lasting impact on our trails and community, ensuring safe and accessible space for all. All right, so I want to give a round of applause to Scott Garber and Alex Mayer. Thank you. And just want to make sure I'm going. Okay, cool. We're moving on to some of our. I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to become one of these recipients one day. So please sign up for a dig day. You know, come out and give it a shot. It really is an awesome community, and it's a different aspect of trails that you know that you guys probably don't see on behind the bike or when you're backpacking the trails. You know, so you just to speak on what's written on the screen. It's just you might have guessed that a lot of our work goes into building and maintaining 150 miles of natural surface trails. You can provide some of your sweat equity to our cause by volunteering for a dig day this year. Experience is not necessary. Learn how to dig, how to do this important work from trained trail stewards on the job. So, you know, come out, you want to have fun, you want to get out of the house for the winter, come and join us. Thank you. Also, I wanted to ask everybody that you know, becoming a member of CORA or the IMBA, you join a group of community-minded, shared use trail advocates who enjoy some great perks when they sign up. So please go on your phones and join. It's a very small amount. You know, we're not golf. We're not gonna take you for everything you're worth. No offense to the golfers in the room. But I want to make sure that you know you guys have an opportunity to help us out in any way that you can. Just scroll over to the next one. All right, and if you can't get out you can't get out on a dig day, and time is just not. Everybody is short on time at different parts of their life, then please go ahead and donate whatever you can. Anything can help. You know, I always say, you know, if we can match the amount of dollars that goes to streaming service subscriptions, then we'd be in good shape. So just go ahead and move on. All right, and the biggest thing, please, just like Jackie said, go ahead and visit our trails. Visit every single one of them, you know. Make sure that you get, you know, a taste of Tower or little dip of Davoo, or, you know, some going over to Mount Airy, you know, going out to the Caesar Creek, the state parks, Houston Woods. Come to our events and our group rides, and show your cities and your community that you support trails, because that's the way that we can get the footage and show everybody how much this is well needed. I want to fill those parking lots as much as we can, right? Let's move on. Okay. So at the end of this meeting, please go ahead and take the survey here. I hope we're gonna have that online somewhere. Probably Jackie's great, so we'll have that online somewhere. If you wanna take a picture with your phone, you can do that now. You know, we really want to know how you guys think about our trails and what things we can do better. So please keep the communication line open. All right, and I want to pass it on to our president. 1 second, hold on. Yeah, I want to pass it on to our president, Brian Bozeman. Come on up. Yeah.
Thank you. Trevor probably could have done this, but thanks you guys seriously for coming out. Thanks for, again, the volunteers, the investors, everybody that's backing us, and the great work that we're trying to do throughout the region. Thanks to the Post for hosting us today. Jackie, I'm very disappointed that you haven't been to Tower Park. So Doug and Jackie, call me. We're going to Tower Park. Anybody got any questions before we close out? Bar's open. Any questions?
How can I get one of those sweet shirts you got on?
How can I get one of those sweet shirts you got on? I don't know, Sherman. How can I get one of those sweet shirts you got on?
All right. So if you want any merch, Derek from Driftmeyer Designs is in the back selling shirts. They're awesome. You know, we're gonna get some jerseys out soon. We haven't gotten those yet, but you know, if you guys want to support CORA by wearing this stuff to work on Fridays, then we want you guys to have that opportunity. So we're gonna have that online on our shop, and back there if you want to get one right now. Some pretty cool custom shirts that you might not be able to get online. So check that out.
And that's it. If you want this shirt, I don't think we're making it anymore, so you can.
They're on the website.
Oh, they're on the website.
Yeah, they're on the website.
Or you can buy mine for like a lot.
Sign?
Right? I'll sign it. I'm just kidding. It's worth nothing. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your time here. So